important to try and lock them down. Xayah is a great counter pick though to the Vi, to Aurelion Sol, and even Maokai. You know, there's so much engage already and so much crowd control on the side of International Job Center. Xayah's ultimate is a great way to negate all of that engage. So overall interesting picks across the board. We have 2 AP damage sources on either side, so that's great. You know, that's really, really good. But the big thing here is that we have solo lanes pretty much off the solo lanes have not been picked yet. We already have Aatrox banned, we have Volibear banned, we have Renekton banned. Of course, there are so many solo laners that are already off the pool, like Wukong, Darius, Camille. So some of these solo laners, you know, like Carlos, are going to be, you know, really punching down the champion pool this game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, Aatrox being banned out, obviously Renekton as well. I mean, there's the potential for the Fiora to come through. Obviously, it was hovered in the last game, so Fiora potentially might come through for either of these teams here. The Yasuo being banned out, so again, maybe looking at random. Obviously, has the ASOL here, so not really a pick here onto a random, but very interesting what they are going to go for. Obviously, the top side of the map, like you said, but. Shinzao, last ban, potentially going to be another jungler. Oh, okay, Morgana. Could have been the jungle there for them as well. I mean, we haven't seen a Morgana jungle for quite some time, to be honest, so...
Yeah, I don't think Morgana would have really been the pick. Are they really going to pick Mordekaiser as well? I don't know if I really like that, to be honest. I think you need more bruisers. Okay, it's going to be the Mordekaiser, so... That's another AP champion that's banned for next game. I mean, this game is not going to be finished after this one. So that's another AP champion that's going to be out the pool. But I feel like they're pretty heavily AP damage heavy right now. The Syndra plus the Mordekaiser are going to be very AP heavy. And it's going to be a bit difficult, I think, to maybe, you know, like Maokai can build a lot of magic resist. Jace is going to go into one of the side lanes. And now we need the... oh no, we're going to get the Jace marksman here. We are. We're going to get Jace AD carry. Oh god. I mean, this is what happens in Fearless sometimes. Other AD carries are out the pool. There's no other AD carries left to pick. You already have a mage in the Aurelion Sol. What's left? A Jace. That's it. China special, that is.
I mean, we saw Shyvana last week. I'm pretty sure Vapo played the Shyvana as well. I mean, it is getting to that point, like you said, with Fearless Draft, like, we kind of need something a little bit more of a heavy engage as well. The Shyvana does give that over. Obviously, the way that the International Job Center could punish her is obviously making sure she's able to stack up her passive. But I feel like there's a lot of, like, dive here from the side of International Job Center, right? Like, they've got the Fiora, they've got Jace as well. So Jace can obviously be melee and range. He has the hammer, maybe try and kind of bait out Xayah's ultimate before Vi goes in as well. So there is potential for these for this draft to work here for International Job Center. I mean, they definitely have kind of like the aggression going for them.
Actually, interesting enough, it looks like Shy is going to be the one taking the Aurelion Sol. So we're going to be seeing Aurelion Sol in the draw lane, which is interesting to say the least, for sure. I mean, like I said, sometimes it can be very difficult when you're fighting a lot. Obviously, Aurelion Sol is a champion that just wants to sit mid lane, use his third ability, farm up, get his stacks and get his ultimate as quick as possible and get the stacks towards his ultimate as quick as possible. Well, when you're playing him in that dual lane, you're not going to have an easy time trying to farm up, and you're not going to have that lane priority because Xayah and Alistar are going to be very aggressive. I would like to see Aurelion Sol in the mid lane, but maybe it's, you know, the Jace pick was, maybe it's a little bit of hopium, you know, that Jace could be ADC. I mean, it's the damage source. It's, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see that that Syndra against the Fiora or the Jace. I think if you put Fiora against that Syndra, then it's going to be very, very difficult for that Syndra to try and survive.
We'll see. I mean, we're getting into game 3 now between International Job Center and Vapo, so it's going to be spicy, right? I mean, we saw obviously a dominant performance from International Job Center in game number 1. Game number 2, Vapo knew what they had to do, obviously try and shut down the Lee Sin, give over vision to their team so that the ganks were potentially a lot easier to kind of suss out and feel out for the side of Vapo. And now it's kind of just like, how are they going to go through for this one? How are they going to win that early game?
Wow, this is this is something. Xayah against Jace in the top lane. I didn't think I would be saying that in 2025, but hey, here we are. The majors decide, both of the majors actually decide to stay mid lane with the Syndra and the Aurelion Sol. The supports are just chilling here as well, and then Xayah is top lane against the Jace, so I don't really know how to think about that one.
Maybe they were predicting Fiora going into the top side of the map, thinking that Mordekaiser was going to be up there as well, but completely been caught out there. Random is going down to the bot side of the map here, doing a lot of damage. Obviously using the riposte there as well, trying to get that poke damage onto the Mordekaiser. I mean, Mordekaiser only really starts to activate when he gets his ultimate as well, right? Like trying to get that kind of like single target lockdown onto International Jobcenter. I mean, who's kind of going to be the viable target for that one? Do you reckon they're going to try and lock down the ASOL, like just within Mordekaiser's ultimate?
Yeah, I think the ASOL is going to be the main one. There's not really anyone else to shut down, to be honest with you. Yeah. But as long as you get the ASOL away, then maybe you can stop the ultimate from coming through. You can stop a lot of the damage from coming through. The isolated 1v1 might be a little bit difficult for Mordekaiser. Might not be able to win it, but oh, there's a few engages here though. The flash already comes on through. Queenie flashes away, but the Alistar flashes back in. Queenie tries his best. First blood for Queenie on the back line. He doesn't have the way to escape though. Iranian Soul was going to follow up afterwards, but Queenie getting the first blood. Iranian Soul getting a little bit of gold in this early game is something that Vapo don't want to see though. This Iranian Soul, if he can get further ahead and if he can get some more gold, his late game is going to be accelerating. He's going to try and get it, you know, a little bit sooner into the game.
Yeah, I mean, like you already said, obviously ASOL's definitely got the lead there, right? Obviously 2.1k to 1.8 for the side of Vapo. It's definitely where they're going to try and sort of mitigate that growth at hopefully sooner rather than later for Vapo, right? Like right now, globally, it's about 300 gold difference. That's been now shortened down to about 100 gold. So Vapo is definitely trying to maintain and keep their distance closer to International Jobcenter's gold lead.
It's kind of a repeat of game number 2, really, to be honest with you, but this time the opposite way around, with Snorlax looking for the invade, Snorlax looking to try and get the Shyvana behind. Again, Shyvana kind of similar to like the likes of Gnar and of course like the Lee Sin, as well as the Mordekaiser ulti does come on through. Jace with a great dodge there, Carlos with an incredible dodge with the Mordekaiser, so that's not going to come on through, and flashes away from the Shyvana ulti. Really well played there from Carlos, dodging the Mordekaiser inside the ultimate, flashing away from Shyvana's ulti as well, and now they're going to collapse onto the Syndra. There's the dive potential that you was talking about, Blam, but this time it's for International Jobcenter, and they can look to try and invade even more.
Yeah, looking to take even more from the side of Vapo as well. Queenie looking pretty low here. Probably not going to escape this one. Doesn't have the flash off cooldown. It is going to take down there as well. Quite gets the kill, but it is then paid back by Susanoo as well. So currently a 1-1 trade overall for both of these teams. Susanoo still into the thick of it. Getting a triple man knocker. Push him back quite into the turret as well. It's going to be enough damage to take down Snorlax as well as Queen.
It's a very, very scrappy at the moment, I feel like, for both teams. I mean, the big thing here for International Jobcenter is they want to try and put this Shyvana behind. They don't want her to get as many stacks as she can with this Shyvana, because with her passive, the more jungle camps that she farms, the scarier it's going to get with her late game scaling. So with the Vi, with the dive potential onto that Syndra as well, you can see that when you're playing dive champions against these mages, it can be very easy for the Vi to dive on in and do a lot of damage. But they haven't really done a good job so far putting the Shyvana behind. She currently has the most gold in her entire team, so Shyvana trying to get as much gold as possible and trying to get them stacks by farming through the jungle.
Yeah, they got to make sure they're going to try and keep her in check, right? Like, don't get that passive up. Don't want to get over and allow Shyvana to stack those passives, especially with, obviously, the dragon takedowns as well. But I feel like from the past 2 games that we've already seen so far, there's been a big sort of, like, push for the Enchanted Ensemble to try and get that early sort of lane pressure, especially into the mid lane as well. Both times those Enchanted Ensembles been put down, it's always into the mid lane, just to put that kind of great pressure, as well as getting the shield in straight away from the enemy team. But here we are, neutral objectives are up, and both teams are kind of circulating around this Enchanted Ensemble.
Yeah, both teams trying to look for it at the moment. Random forces out Xayah's ultimate in the bot side of the map that we just saw, but it's Quant the one engaging with that Maokai ultimate, and they're jumping in straight onto the Syndra. Snorlax again with the solo kill onto the Syndra. Does get ulted done by the Mordekaiser, but he might actually die for it. Oh, it's so close. Queenie trying to take the Herald. He does take it in the end. He flashes away. He survives as well. But overall, it's a team fight win here for International Jobcenter. And again, it's the Syndra getting caught out there, unfortunately, by the Via ultimate, and it does mean that they're going to be a little bit behind, really, when it comes to tempo, because this Syndra only has 3,800 gold, even the Xayah as well. The solo laners right now are so far behind. You look at the gold of Random, you look at the gold of Carlos on the Jason Fiora. There's such a big lead there.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to be giving over, obviously, a better lead to the Syndra and the Xayah as well. Obviously, that's gonna that's where your damage is going to be coming from for the side of Vapo, especially into those later game team fights as well. But if they aren't able to kind of adjust that and actually get that control from the side of International Jobcenter, I think that's going to be the issue here. I mean, Susanoo is chunking a lot of the damage. Execute almost came through as well from Shy.
I mean, that just shows the power of Aurelion Sol. As soon as you get that Rylai's completed, it gives you so much power and so many slows that it's so difficult for enemies to try and escape. And you're seeing the power when it comes into these early exchanges. That means Alistar had to go back to base, and maybe this dragon is going to go into the hands of the International Jobcenter. It's actually stolen in the end by the Xayah. The feathers coming on through in the end is a big difference. Mordekaiser's ultimate hasn't come through just yet, I don't think. I don't think, he doesn't have his ultimate just yet. He has it in a few seconds, so he can look to try and make a trade-off. Queenie does go down, but job secured here for Vapo, and they were able to take the objective and give Shyvana even more stacks.
Yeah, they may be International Jobcenter, but they didn't quite secure that job for themselves, right? I mean, that was a beautiful steal from Vapo. I mean, from everybody. I mean, Tung Sahor with the feathers gets the kill. Doesn't even smite it. He just gets it with that the feather recall, which is pretty impressive, if I say so myself. But they're still behind by about 4k gold difference, which is definitely where Vapo need to kind of make that adjustment, right? Especially if they want the damage to come from the Xayah and the Syndra for now, because Lilo and Tung Sahor are still yet to get a kill on the board. We see the Bloodthirster being built here as well, first item for the Xayah. So still need to wait for the kind of like the power spike for that pick.
When it comes to this mid and late game as well, you're really looking at the Aurelion Sol this game. How much gold this Aurelion Sol can get, how much farm this Aurelion Sol can get. And already, Aurelion Sol is up to nearly 7,000 gold in 8 minutes in this game. The most gold in the entire game. And when you're looking at the scoreboard, if you're on the side of Vapo, there's one champion that you do not want all the gold to go on. It looks like the flash came on through there for Snorlax. Really good reaction to try and escape there from the Alistar. Meanwhile, they're trying to get the mid lane tower. They do secure that mid lane tower. The Aurelion Sol, though, you can see, has the upgraded ultimate. The slows come on through as well with the Rylai's, but the escape is going to be fine. Feathers recall as well is very, very clean, but I don't think it's going to be enough as Queenie tries to flash and tries to save, but nothing's going to happen there. The Alistar goes down. They're going to try and dive in onto the Xayah as well. I don't think she has ultimate anymore. Another kill in the mid lane goes onto the Xayah, and that dive potential that was already there for International Jobcenter just got even scarier here.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy, right? I mean, this all started obviously from Random, putting a lot of pressure down to the bot side of the map, and then it kind of just meant that they were always into the back of the mind of Vapo, was just always thinking, like, what is going on? We need to put some pressure down there, but it's just the potential lockdown here and dive into the backline that International Jobcenter has that just kind of catches them off guard. They think they're running back, but really they're just running into International Jobcenter. We saw, obviously, a takedown between T1 and T2 into the mid lane as well. So there's nowhere that really the side of International Jobcenter don't feel sort of strong and weak to sort of take a fight from the side of Vapo, and it's really showing here with that 8k gold difference as well. Like, they're definitely playing a really good, clean game 3.
And so far it's been really, really strong. Again, the solo lane is really coming out on top here. You know, Random now having the most gold on the team. He was able to get so many tower plates in that bot lane early on. Again, a kind of match up against Xayah. Xayah just all by herself in the bottom side of the map just makes it very difficult for the Xayah to even try and walk up and try and do enough damage to this Fiora, because if you step up too far, the Fiora can just run you down. So it's very difficult for the Xayah to try and play in this solo lane, and that's one of the difficulties that Vapo had this game, was kind of the lane assignments. Where do the supports go? Where does everyone else go? Aurelion Sol ultimate does come on through onto Queenie. They're not going to have any follow-up, but hitting that ultimate does mean that the Aurelion Sol is going to get more stacks.
More stacks, and at the same time they just haven't learned from Random. Random's not even been like participating into these team fights, right? Like, he's just focused in the side lanes. Once again, does it up to the top side of the map, gets a T2 as well, is able to get out there as well thanks to the dashes from that Fiora's kit. He's just kind of playing macro very, very well in this one. He's staying away as much as possible from these team fights because he knows that's not where his specialty is going to be. Obviously, maybe into the latter part, trying to get to the back line potentially, but Fiora is great at taking down these side lanes, and that's what Random's doing.
As you said, another tier 2 tower up into the top side. Tier 2 tower in the bot also gone as well. So looks like at the moment, Vapo, their base is nearly in shreds, just outside their base. All their tier 2 towers have nearly gone down, except for that mid lane. You're seeing how difficult it is right now for Vapo to deal with this Fiora. 10,000 gold now for this Fiora. Nearly 3 items already for this Fiora. And it's going to make it very difficult for Vapo to really shut this Fiora down. You can see that even if she does get caught out, or even if she does turn into like a walking ward in the way, she can use that dash away to get to safety, and she can roam around the map and give your team vision and an advantage that no other champion can really give.
Yeah, no, it's definitely paying off for the side of International Jobcenter. They definitely was hovering, obviously, in the last game, but it kind of makes sense why they've gone for it this time around, because they're definitely playing it a lot better. I feel like it kind of plays into, well, against Vapo's draft as well, especially we can kind of see the Hex Drinker. I think the second tier item is there that gives, obviously, magic resistance as well. Potentially build into the Malmortis. There we go. Gets built here for Random. Again, magic resistance coming through with this item. He needs it, especially if he's going to be diving into the thick of it as well, into these latter part of these team fights. Trying to get caught out here is Quantra, but he does actually get over the wall with the flash for now.
As I mentioned, with the Mordekaiser and the Syndra for the side of Vapo, you know, building magic resist is going to be very, very helpful. You mentioned already the more Malmortius is going to give you the extra magic shield, and Alistar looks like he's completely caught out. Unfortunately, Xayah actually has to use the feathers to try and get away, but look at the Aurelion Soul ultimate. It's so scary to try and escape from. The feathers do come on through and they do survive, but it does mean that International Jobcenter are going to get full priority over this Baron. And Random, again, as you mentioned before, not even in these fights, just diving over and over again, and there's no one that can deal with him. He gets a 2 versus 1 kill, but Queenie on the other side trying to get some more kills, but he's all by himself. The Xayah and the Mordekaiser is back in the base. A few kills now, 3 for 1 trade for International Jobcenter, and they're going to rush straight towards this Baron.
Yeah, no, not looking too good for our boys Vapo here. I mean, definitely in this game 3, they are not leading the game in kills, gold, or any kind of objective as well, right? I mean, the fact that Mordekaiser and Xayah just have to kind of play retreat here and just tend to their lanes means that Baron Nashor was going to be a free objective for the side of International Jobcenter. And I mean, did they really need it, especially with the pressure that the randoms already put into the side lanes? Probably not, but it's definitely going to help them try and close out this game 3.
Baron's going to be important to try and break the base and try and get these inhibitors open for International Jobcenter, get them super minions rolling in as well. You can see Fiora again going straight up into that top lane, just going to try and go for the solo kill onto Mordekaiser. I think it's going to be easy pickings in the end. There you go, solo kill for the Fiora. Again, another kill, another solo kill for Random. He has been absolutely destroying it. Such a great ultimate there as well. Xayah doesn't even have her ultimate to try and escape, tries to cleanse and flash away, but it does not matter. The Aurelion Soul comes flying on through, rampage for Shy, and that's going to be game number 3 to International's Jobcenter.
Yeah, huge ace there from International Jobcenter as they push the crystal as well. The Nexus is going to go down super duper easy in this game of 3. What a dominant performance here from International Jobcenter, claiming back that second point that they need. They only need 1 point away now, as well, to try and round this out for this best of 5. But again, this is another 20 champions being taken off of that entire pool. We are getting pretty low now.
As you can see, that's the finish draft just underneath there as well. You're seeing all the champions that have been banned now. Of course, the Xayah's out of the pool now. The Aurelion Soul's out of the pool. There are so many tank supports that are out the pool now as well, and it's just very, very scary to think about when it comes to this, you know, game number 4 draft. You know, what we're going to be seeing. We've just seen the Aurelion Soul on Shy's hand. We saw mages already. There's actually no other AD carries you can really play. The only AD carry that's really left to play is that Kai'Sa, if you want to try and get that enchanter support. But yeah, there we go. Here's the scoreboard as well. You can see Snorlax had a very good performance. Random didn't even die. Shy didn't even die either. Random, I think, the MVP of this game. Incredible performance. And again, you see how difficult it is to play mages, even when there's another mage on the other side. You know, the Syndra just getting dove over and over again. And Aurelion Sol's a bit different because he has the slows, he has the AoE damage with his ultimate, and he has that late game scaling. Syndra doesn't. Syndra's all about single target, trying to, you know, CC someone and burst them down. Who are you going to burst down on this enemy team comp? You can't even get close to Aurelion Sol. And you got 4 bruisers, 4 tanks standing right in front of them that Syndra can just deal no damage to at all.
I mean, yeah, trying to get